Hey guys, Youngblood with you, and today we're going to talk through the background behind a company in the Star Citizen universe, Tarsus Electronics. The first time humanity made a jump through inner space was in 2271 by Nick Croshaw, and the way it happened was essentially through a radiation leak in his ship's quantum drive, which opened up the jump point. This almost magical event ended up spurring the interest of countless explorers and companies who saw an opportunity to get out into space and do their own exploration. Now, the passionate explorers out there, they were really risking their lives by trying to recreate what happened on Croshaw's ship, and would intentionally open their reactors to replicate the results. While some had some success, this was still a really incredibly dangerous way to do things, and we really needed a more controlled way to do this. RSI was the first one to make that happen with a manufactured product capable of producing results without the inconsistencies of tweaking devices. The problem was the product was incredibly expensive, partially because of the technology involved, but also because they owned the market share, and nobody else could even compete. But the RSI QM Core 12 jump drive, the pricing was just so far out of reach for most individuals that we really only saw corporations and government bodies coming into possession of them and being capable of getting further out into space. Now, there were some extravagant billionaires out there that would send some private explorers out, hoping to find a system that could then in turn be named after themselves, but for the most part, traveling the stars was more of a dream than reality. It was funny that RSI, who initially had set out to make space travel capable for all, going down the route of producing the Zeus, was now producing the only product really capable of opening doors to let people go further into space, yet it was too expensive for anyone to really go out and buy them. Now, there was a lot of other companies that were trying to join RSI in this business, but none really found success until Terra de Leon and Alphonsus Cabrino started to make things happen. Now, this duo met as mechanics working on a space station near the Croshaw to Sol jump point, and while spending many hours working together repairing ships and different parts, they spent most of their time talking about their dreams of exploration. Their passion for exploration in conjunction with their technical and mechanical knowledge would eventually be what led to their future company. But it all really took a turn when a ship they were servicing needed repairs, and they got their first real close look at the RSI jump drive on board. The reason that they hadn't seen one to this point was because most pilots and owners would take their ships to RSI-specific shops, because if they needed it serviced, they didn't want to trust some non-contracted mechanic that didn't have the experience to work on the incredibly expensive technology. But this ship had its jump drive crap out on it with a load of passengers, and their facility just happened to be the closest location. The owner of the ship had, a lot riding on his business, so he was nervous about letting the two mechanics tinker with his toy, but he knew that he didn't really have any other options. That meant that Terra and Alphon quickly diagnosed that it was going to be a simple and quick wiring fix. However, they wanted to take that opportunity to really get a closer look at the jump engine. So they gave the owner some kind of fallacious story about how complicated it would be and that they would need to lay, a whole day to do repairs to the ship. And as part of that process, they inspected everything that had to do with the quantum drive and the jump drive. What they discovered in that process was the key behind the success to the product, and they ended up apologizing to the owner of the ship for lying to him, but paid him a little bit for his time and thanked him for helping to create what would become known as Tarsus. Now, what they found on that RSA drive wasn't a whole new product reflective of a massive leap in quantum or jump technology. It was simply that RSI had found a way to actually replicate what happened to Nick Croshaw's quantum drive in a controlled manner, known as a NIC, named after Nick Croshaw. The ramifications of this meant that you didn't need to buy an entire new drive to be jump capable. You just needed the necessary modifications to actually replicate controlled NICs. This also meant that Terra and Alphon had discovered an alternative to the extremely expensive RSI option, and one that meant existing ships could be configured for jump travel. The result of this knowledge, along with 27 months of time, all of their money, in addition to some more creative studying of jump-capable ships that stopped off at their facility, meant that they could create a standalone module capable of attaching to any quantum drive and would enable jumping ability, assuming you had a ship that was big enough, considering the initial versions of this product took up a significant amount of your cargo hold. They eventually tested the Tarsus drive in 2292 after filling out their wills and wishing their families all the best, and they made their first jump using their drive, and they popped up in Sol safely with a successful test flight under their belt. Now, this got amateur and wannabe explorers so excited that the demand for this technology was overwhelming. Luckily, as they started to produce these, one of their friends, who was a lawyer, actually advised them that they needed to quickly patent this technology, and with that advice, the Tarsus Corporation was created. As word continued to spread, demand continued to grow based on the Tarsus device being a fraction of the cost of what RSI was offering, making ship owners all over civilized space wanting to upgrade their drives to new Tarsus options that are now available that were in their price range. That same lawyer, which helped to advise them on getting the patent, actually played a major role in the newborn company when they were actually able to successfully defend Tarsus when RSI ended up trying to sue them. After that failed attempt, though, RSI was pretty quick and ended up countering with their own add-on module just 6 months later that was in a similar price range to allow them to continue to compete. That lawyer, named Tonnell, would actually end up becoming the CEO of the company and continued to watch over the well-being there as Terra and Alphon finally got to exploring the stars that they had been dreaming about for so long. Tarsus eventually diversified their products to include scanners, nav computers, and different things for explorers that really performed better in conjunction with their products. And it really just made a wide array of products that the explorers would find helpful, as well as, at a better price range. And those continued advancements would help the company continue to grow. And if it wasn't for the work of these two people, the expansion of the human race would have been really set very far behind where it is today. So if you have questions about Terra Alphon or any of this information, please let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned for more and have yourselves a wonderful day. Take care.